Situated on the banks of the Mosel River is the picturesque town of Bernkastel-Kues. It might seem like a sleepy old hamlet from an outsider's point of view, but beneath the surface lies a flippin' interesting history. My name is Dr. Jacobus Seidnote, this is Stashy, and you're watching The Historian Stash. Now, Bernkastel-Kues lies in the Mosel Valley, about 50 kilometers from Trier. The town is actually 4 villages, all packed into one. The villages of Andel and Bernkastel are situated on the right bank of the Moselle, while the villages of Kues and Wielen sit on the left bank. When we went there, we spent our time predominantly in the Bernkastel village only. Bernkastel officially became a town when King Rudolf I of Germany, from the House of Habsburg, granted it town rights in 1291. In 1332, the town rights were reaffirmed by Holy Roman Emperor Louis IV, or Louis the Bavarian.
That's my nickname, Sugar Bones.
Oh yeah, that's right, the one you made up for yourself.
Yeah, who cares who made it up? It's totally tubular.
On our way to Bernkastel, we drove all along the beautiful Moselle River, in what's known as the Moselle wine region. We drove through multiple riverside towns and villages and vineyards before arriving at Kues to cross the bridge to get to Bernkastel. As we approached the village, to our right, on the other side of the Moselle, stood the rather imposing figure of Landshut Castle, built during the 13th century and became a ruin after a fire swept through the ancient structure in 1692. On the Kues side of the Moselle, to the left, is the white and red St. Nicolaus Hospital, or Kusanusdrift, which is located directly on the banks of the river. The man after whom this building is named was an oak called Nicola Cusano, also known as Nicolaus von Kues, a German Catholic cardinal, philosopher, theologian, jurist, mathematician, and astronomer.
Give a round of applause to that.
He was one of the first German advocates of Renaissance humanism and made spiritual and political contributions in European history. Old Nick was born in Kues, so as bishop he decided in 1465 to donate a hospital to his hometown. This became the St. Nicolaus Hospital and was capable of accommodating up to 33 needy men from all walks of life. It was reserved for men only, a kind of Renaissance-era YMCA.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
500 years later, at the end of the 1960s, women were also allowed to be admitted there. To this day, it still houses a nursing home. Also on the premises is Old Nick's library. It's considered one of the most precious private libraries in the world, since all the wealth of writings that the great humanist possessed have been preserved there. The library covers various fields of knowledge, including philosophy, theology, mysticism, ecclesiastical and secular law, medicine, astronomy, geography, and, wouldn't you know it, history. Old Nick was well and truly a learned man.
This is a house of learned doctors.
Once over the bridge, we walked into Bernkastel, entering the Kolovy Square. Here we were greeted by some more gingerbread houses, similar to those of Saarburg. On the other side of the square is the imposing site of the Catholic parish church of St. Michael. Right next to the church is a wall where record is kept of the Moselle floods over the past few centuries. Looks like the 28th of February 1784 was a hell of a supermoon. The centerpiece of the ancient dorpie is the medieval market square with its gabled half-timbered houses from the 17th century, as well as the Michaelsbrunnen fountain. At the far end of the square is the narrow pointed house from 1416, but this resembles more the Leaning Tower of Pisa than a house. Now, quite a popular legend in Bernkastel is the legend of the Bernkastel-Doctor. The story goes that in the 14th century, the Holy Roman Emperor Elector, Archbishop Beaumont II of Trier, became seriously ill during a stay at the Landset Castle. No medication helped, and none of his doctors knew what to do. Old Beaumont had already consumed bitter medicine and a ton of tea, but it was all in vain. Out of desperation, he made it known throughout the land that any person able to rid him of this fever would be handsomely rewarded. At the same time, an elderly knight, whose name isn't given, was just chilling in his castle Hunelstein in the Hunsrück mountains. This buddy had fought some hectic battles as a young squire and as a knight, as well as overcoming all the severe weather conditions that Mother Nature threw at him. He looked old, someone with a big white beard to prove it, but there was nothing wrong with his physique. His limbs were still strong, and his neck was straight, and he had red cheeks, like a whiskey-loving, battle-ready Father Christmas. The story goes that this knight had a very simple cure to all his ailments, and that was wine. But not just any wine. He drank the fiery Bernkastel wine which he himself had made.
Gesondheid!
So when the knight heard that old Beaumont was sick, he didn't hesitate to help the archbishop with his homemade concoction. He rode out to Landset Castle, taking a keg of the best old wine with him. When Beaumont saw the ancient-looking knight and his keg, he gulped in fear, because he thought that he would have to down a whole barrel full of bitter medicine.
Zalig. Soos nektar op die tong. Doe met het zoek.
But the knight set the keg down and filled a cup with the clear golden wine. The spicy aroma from the wine enticed the sickly archbishop to sit up in his bed. He took the cup and sipped on the wine, then took a bolder sip, and another one, and another, finally polishing the whole cup.
Zalig soos nektar op die tong.
Beaumont was healed and was immediately keen on adopting this as the sacramental wine.
It's a kerkmens.
Not only was he cured by this miracle wine, but the old archbishop really enjoyed it. And so he gave the wine the name Bernkastel-Doctor, which is still used today to describe the type of wine from the Bernkastel-Kues area. And this is how the Bernkastel-Doctor got its name. Walking around Bernkastel feels like you're walking back in time. The cobbled streets and the rustic half-timbered houses have got centuries of stories to tell. From hectic spring tides to benevolent bishops and miracle wine, Bernkastel has seen its fair share of extraordinary events. And who knows, perhaps this sleepy dorpie has a whole lot more to offer in years to come. That's it for now. Until next time, stay stashy.
Are you ready for a miracle? Are you ready for a miracle? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready for a miracle? Are you ready for a miracle?
You
ready for a miracle?
I wanna know.
Are you ready for a miracle?